Some of this will be echoes of what has gone before, and there's something about the fact that we all arrive at making these presentations independently. There is no pre-meeting, there is no sorting of content to make sure that there's no violent disagreement. And it's great, I think, that you'll see some agreement between what I'm about to say and what has gone before, and hopefully the repetition will be valuable. But just in case we haven't all got the same idea about what innovation is, let's just imagine that we've got the same idea about something else for a moment. A simple concept, like a swing. So imagine a swing. I hope you've all got the same image in your mind. We've all got the same idea. Well, perhaps we haven't. In this company, this mythical company that might be tasked with launching a swing, a market researcher might recommend this type of swing. We'll just have more and more features. Marketing might actually take out of that, yes, this is a swing. The functionality doesn't really bother us. The technical brief, well, it's a swing, but not as we know it. What the zone or the regional heads approved would be a swing on a tree, clearly. What we promised to the trade, yes, was a swing, but it was an armchair and everything was sunny and bright. That's what it was when it went through legal. That's what the factory came up with. This is what the agency billed us for, a complete theme park. That's how it was supported in the marketplace. But at the end of the day, what the consumer really needed was a tyre and a bit of rope. Okay? So just to sort of set the scene to help you, I think, try and understand that words, ideas, concepts are often understood and interpreted in rather different ways. So let me define innovation for you, and I'm sorry I fall back on the Oxford English Dictionary to start with, but it bears some repetition. It is about introducing something new. I thought I'd better put in something from the illustrious government. So the UK Department of Trade and Industry would define innovation as the successful exploitation of new ideas. Drucker, the management guru, would say that it's change that creates a new dimension of performance. So what does that mean? And again, echoes of what Brian was saying earlier on. It differs from invention. It's not the same thing. It is not just the crazy world of creativity that we all enjoy so much. It is not a small change. It must be substantially new, not an insignificant change. So therefore, new product development and new brand development, I think, qualify as innovation in this context. Why is innovation important? It is the driver of growth. A slightly bigger consultancy than my own, called Deloitte, who you may have heard of, survey on a regular basis on a very wide sample, 650 firms globally, about innovation, and it's pretty reliable data. Their quote, their summary is that global manufacturers are making innovation their primary source of new revenue growth. Okay, it's 2005 data, but I think that would be an even clearer conclusion if that survey were to be run today. In every sector, in every category globally they looked at, new product, services and launch was the top growth driver. Mergers and acquisition was maximum number 5. I bet that's lower down the list now. Innovation's important because everybody else is doing it. If you didn't do it, you'd be going backwards. So innovation is not just about growth, it's avoiding decline. And competitors will overtake you. And be careful how you define your competitors. Parallel markets that you think may not be direct competitors, can eat your lunch just as well. The competition will increasingly come from outside your category. EMI are in trouble not because of Warner Brothers. They're in trouble because of Apple, and they've invented a new model which actually takes their business away from them. It is the law now, by the way, that you have to mention Apple or Innocent in every marketing presentation. And I've now covered it. Innovation imperative is at the heart of marketing. Isn't that what marketing is all about? There's a lot of marketing people in the audience. Marketing's about identifying new ideas and products that people need or want, preferably both. Sometimes that new idea addresses a basic need, a fundamental need, and we have touched on form and function, on function and emotion, on all of those aspects of a proposition. So sometimes consumers will be able to tell you what they want, what their needs are, and they'll publicly admit to it sometimes as well. But more often than not, in this over-segmented world that we market in, sometimes that need is only revealed or acknowledged when the solution itself is acknowledged. So you have to identify the insight as a marketeer to get there. The innovation imperative, we talk about speed, and speed to market is accelerating, which is a good thing. Why? Because the life cycle is shortening. That is a bad thing. Okay, so products last for less time in the marketplace. They go through the life cycle curve more quickly. The Economist said, with the pace of innovation heating up, any enterprise that fails to replace 10% of its revenue stream annually will be out of business in 5 years. And companies are shortening their time to market from 18 months on average to 13 months in 2007, according to Deloitte. I don't know whether those numbers are accurate. They're getting shorter, and I hope you all recognise that. Why is innovation important, and why is the success of innovation such an issue? It is because it is such an inefficient and ineffective process to start with. The odds are stacked against us. Again, you probably heard the 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 new product introductions fail. I've traced the 9 out of 10 new product introductions fail within 2 years back to an Ernst & Young and AC Nielsen study a few years ago. There's been a more recent piece of work by IRI in the UK which said that only 20% of new launches across the 6 European countries, and that was UK, Germany, France, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, are successful. And they define success as selling at a rate of 80% of the average category sales. Only 10% of products achieve above the category average. So I think this 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 product success rate, however you define it, however you set the rules, it's pretty poor performance. So our efforts as marketers really should be to improve the performance, improve that effectiveness. What does success in innovation mean? And there's a list here of key performance indicators, and that basically says, what do you use to recognise success when you see it? And many businesses are different. We'll find out in a moment what you think are the performance indicators of success. But I think you can break down those key performance indicators largely into 2 groups, the sort of input factors, or the external and the external outcome factors. So some businesses will see success as meaning the product's lasted long enough, it's been out there for 2 years. Others will say it's about driving a percentage of our total sales through new products being defined as introduced within the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years or whatever. Market share achieved, shareholder value created, how much has our share price been driven by innovation. New categories entered, the speed at which we've entered them, and the return we've had on our investment, maybe the return on R&D investment. Similarly, internal or input measures might be how much effort did we make? So how much money did we spend in the various divisions of the business? How much time did we spend? How many people did we put against it? And indeed, did the senior managers actually talk about it at all at the board meeting? Just to quickly sketch some of the obstacles to innovation, and some of these may chime with you. In our experience, here are some of the common obstacles to innovation efficiency. Inconsistency of judgment criteria. Code for the business changes its mind, the guy at the top changes. The goalposts move. You get focus on business as usual. Particularly in difficult economic circumstances, businesses circle the wagons. They focus on core. That gets translated as meaning let's not have any innovation for a bit. It's the wrong message, but that's what they do. Lean organisations with no spare capacity. You have to have some slack in the organisation to cope with the unexpected. That's what you cut out of an organisation when you reorganise. Concept confusion. I did go back to my first jokey slides, made in some seriousness. You don't even write ideas down, some businesses. You have concept confusion. People have a different interpretation of the same idea. And ideas are cheap, so let's have another one. A very creative front end of a business, a very bureaucratic back end of a business. It's very tempting to keep going back into the creative process and have lots of brainstorms and away days, because that's a darn sight easier than actually delivering a project. Why is this 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 statistic so hideous? Because consumers are not involved early enough in the process, I submit. Because avoidance of risk leads to lack of real innovation, very clear at the moment. Therefore, you get line extensions, which keep the sales force happy for a bit. They might even convince the trade that you're an innovator, but ultimately they're of no use to the consumer whatsoever. Someone else gets there first. That someone else can come from any part of the world, even in the food business. Okay, we are not an island anymore, even in food. and the disconnection between the product that's launched and the concept that's researched. Concept creep, we call it. So even if you've developed a great concept, it researches really well, you're pretty convinced this is the thing you're going to launch. 6, 9, 12 months later, after it's been through the process, the salami's been sliced to a point where you haven't got the product that you originally intended to launch. You've compromised your way out. So to be more positive, what are the keys to success? Well, in essence, it's about early evaluation of your pipeline at the very front end. Generate lots of ideas. Don't just have a few ideas. Generate lots of them. Make sure they're insight-driven. Observe a structured, creative process. Don't just have a lazy away day on it. Template the output. Have diverse participants. It's not just the province of marketing. And don't have any evaluation in the idea generation stage. And then very quickly move through to an internal screening which adopts a scorecard type approach. Screen against the same sort of criteria that Brian was actually saying were the determinants of success. The consumer fit your strategy, it fits your business capability. They're the predictors of success. Apply weighting factors to those so that you get some objective evaluation and output that as a management tool, not as a mystifying black box, as an open, honest and transparent way of evaluating ideas rather than put them all into the boardroom and see who puts the thumbs up. Consumer research, we could have a whole conference on this topic, but in principle, don't make your evaluations on what to do and what not to do with focus groups. You've got to make a stop or go decision, a live or die decision based on quantitative data. Okay? But you need to diagnose what's wrong or what's good about your concepts with qualitative. So there's no either or. You've got to put these two things together, make it actionable output so that your developers can do something with it. I am going to skip through this fairly quickly because I think I've got about 5 minutes. Trying to put the builds in. Yes, the interest, belief and uniqueness are basically the key drivers, the key determinants of concept evaluation. And if you have interest and uniqueness supported by belief, then you have a powerful concept. It is the essence of branding. It is about what differentiation is about. It refers back to what Eddie was saying. Uniqueness is a key measure of new concepts. Interest and uniqueness is the key combination. And indeed, we're finding, particularly in technology-driven markets, that uniqueness can correlate to price expectation. The more unique a consumer thinks a product is, the higher the price expectation. Everybody needs a matrix in their presentation, and here's mine. There's the Boston matrix, the Ansoff matrix, well, this is the MIH matrix. Talking again about the interest and uniqueness as being the prime determinants. If you have high interest and high uniqueness, that's where you want to be. You want a friend for life. If you've got high interest but low uniqueness, you're following somebody else. And that might be a strategy. I'm not saying that's wrong, but recognise what you're doing. Clearly, if you've got low interest and low uniqueness, it's a dead duck. And if it's highly unique but low interest, nobody really wants it. That's an abandoned puppy, and it should be drowned, frankly. So, in summary, have lots of ideas, but don't have ideas all the time. That's not what innovation is all about. Recognise when playtime is over and get on and deliver the products to the marketplace. Don't be afraid to kill the puppies. There are lots of pet projects out there in everybody's innovation pipeline, which everybody's just too scared to kill. Well, that is making your innovation process inefficient. You've got to just be brave and kill them. Fail fast, but learn. It is never going to be a 9 out of 10 success rate. It might be a 50-50 success rate. So you're going to have failures. You can't take failure out of the process. But when you fail, do it quickly, learn from it and move on. Ask for forgiveness, not for permission. Don't take the whole innovation culture out of your business by over-processing. I've used the word process quite a few times in this presentation, but don't overdo it. Don't subvert your people from whom the ideas come into a process. A funnel is better than a tunnel, but a pipe flows faster. What the dickens does that mean? We talk about innovation funnels. We've seen funnels. Funnels fit in bottles, don't they? Fit in bottlenecks, in my view. And I think that, yes, a tunnel is a bigger problem. A funnel helps. But actually what you really want is a nice, narrow, high-pressure jet of a pipe going through your business. Do fewer things and do them faster. Do the right projects and do the projects right. That's complete plagiarism, which other well-read members of the audience will recognise. And at the end of the day, what do you want? What do you want in a business? Do you want to do 100 projects at 1 mile an hour, or do you want to do one project at 100 miles an hour? That's all I have to say. If you'd like to know more, that's where to go. Thanks very much.